All right, so next question. Question number 5. A student is learning about arrays. A student is learning about arrays. She wants to write program to declare a 1D array rnum. Okay, so declare a 1D array rnum of 100 elements of type integer. All right, so declare rnum as array of 100 elements of integer. Okay. All right. Assign each element a random value in the range 1 to 200 inclusive. Okay. Each element. All right. So we have to actually run a loop. So declare I for index of the count and output, how many numbers generated were between, okay, a counter. They both are integers. All right. Then we have to declare, initialize them. I is equal to 0. Count is equal to 0. All right, for index is equal to 1 to 100, or num is equal to, r num I is equal to, okay, now we have to actually visit the insert that is given. Suman, you can do that. Not an issue. You can initialize multiple variables on the same line, but marking schemes sometimes do that, but most of the times marking schemes are actually initializing every variable on a separate line. And secondly, all those variables which are part of for next loops or and inputs are not being initialized in marking scheme. So, but I always had made this rule of thumb so that we could actually ignore this ifs and buts and all. So whatever the variable that we have, we will initialize it. And for the safe side, just initialize them in the separate lines. Okay. Now, how to apply this random function? You will be given, I taught you several different kinds of functions, random functions. Okay, some which generate leaving upper bound, some which generate in a real number format with a point, a decimal format. Some are different types. So for this particular paper, there was an insert that says that it generates between lower and upper bound, between lower and upper bound -1. So if you ask it to go from 10 to 20, it will be going from 10 to 19, and that too in real form. Okay, real number form. So for that reason, what we are going to do, first we have to assign integer of that. Yes, Hassan Ali, as a separate insert, you will be given the list of all functions. So first we have to put integer so that whatever the decimal result that we will have to cut it down to integer format. Then we will be applying random function. In random function, we have the range which was up to 200, and whatever the number that will be generated will be from 0 to 199. Yes, 199. For that reason, we have to add 1 to it. Okay, so this is a random function which is starting from 0, going up to upper bound -1, generating in decimal format. So first we have found a number, then we applied integer it to get rid of decimal area or fraction, and then we add 1 to it. So again, it will be starting from, yes, to avoid this +1, you can generate from 0 to 200, that is all right, but it will also be generating 0. It will also be generating 0. So that is why I think +1 is necessary. Okay. All right. Now what we have to do further? Assign each element a random value in between. Okay, that is being done. Count and output how many numbers generated were between 66 and 173 inclusive. If our num I is greater than or equal to 66, and always for the range, it is AND logical operator, and our num I is less than or equal to 173, then count is equal to count plus 1 and if. Okay, and then next I, and then we will output count. All right, so this is an algorithm that declares an array from 1 to 100 of integer, then it declares a counter, and for is gone, long gone. This is now next always. Sufyan, video band karo. Then we initialize variables, then we ran the loop from 1 to 100. We generated one random number as with its all intricacies that I have explained, and assigned that to every next element of the array, and then we check whatever the number that is generated and assigned. If it is between 66 and 173 inclusive, less than or equal to and greater than or equal to, then we have to count it, and once that is finished, we get out of the loop, and then we output the count. That's it. Now the student decides to modify the algorithm so that each element of the array will contain a unique value. Describe the changes. All right. The student decides to modify the algorithm so that each element of the array will contain a new value. First, we have to first initialize the array. Initialize the array to 0. All right. So 0 will basically tell that this value is not yet assigned. This element is still have not received any unique value. So this first value that you assign for the initialization is called a rogue value. All right. So we will initialize the whole array to 0. This will be the first thing. Okay. Then we will create or write code for a function that returns true or false if the newly generated value already exists. Generate run a loop from run a loop 100 times, run a loop 100 times, generate a random value, call the function and check if the value is present. If value is not present already, then add it to the loop. Increase loop only when a new value is added. Okay, so let's write this algorithm. Let's write this algorithm to make it further clear. Okay, so we have a count that we have initialized to 1. Okay, while count is equal to 100, less than or equal to 100. Okay, n is equal to integer of random of 200 plus 1 if, let's call the function is random, is unique. If is unique, and then instead we can use another while inside it. While is unique, instead it, hold on, use repeat loop. That is much better here. Repeat until is unique n. So what does it mean? When unique n will be false, it will keep repeating itself until it generates a number that is between 1 to 200 and it is unique. Unique means it is not already present in the array. All right. And then once it is done, then we add it to our num count is equal to n and then n while. If you like to avoid the function, in that case, what we can do, repeat, and then inside repeat for I is equal to 1 to 100 if r num I is equal to n, then is unique. Now I'm using is unique as if Boolean flag is equal to true. And if next until is unique is equal to true. Okay. Or you have to put is unique is equal to true here. Okay, so what we can do, instead of writing these 3 lines, we can write the whole function inside the loop. Okay, so it will be determining if yes, count will be increased over here. Count is equal to count plus 1. All right, so this is another option. Okay, so we have to initialize unique as false before, as is unique as true before. Okay. Over here is unique is being taken as a function. Over here is unique is being taken as a flag, Boolean. It's up to you how do you conceive it, but they did not ask you to write the whole algorithm, rather they asked you just to write its details. Okay, so 5b. The following is a pseudocode function. Function is string clean. In a string, which is receiving a string in this in a string thing, returns a string, declare next character, declare out string, declare counter, out string is initialized for next. So it is going for the whole length of the string, picking up a character from the string, converting it to a lowercase, and then it is checking if it is not less than, if it is less than or greater than 10, means it is actually outside lower ABCD range. Okay, so since they have used not, means that they are checking next character is less than A or greater than Z. Okay, so they are checking if the character is which is being taken is in between A to Z. All right, so no matter if it is uppercase or lowercase, they are picking up a character, converting, which is, if it is a character which is an alphabet, they are converting it to its lowercase, then they are just making sure So you see, if you check if the next character is less than A or greater than Z, it means that it is outside the range of alphabets, but they have applied not. So it means that they are checking if it is in the range of A to Z. If it is in the range of A to Z, then only then it is being concatenated to the out string. So what is actually happening, that this function is taking a string, picking up characters, leaving any character which are not alphabets, and if it is alphabet, then those characters are being converted to its lower format, capital to lower, capital to small format, and then it is being added to out string. So it is now leaving all spaces, any special characters out, and then just picking up characters from A to Z, converting them to lowercase, combining them all, and putting it in out string. Okay. All right. Give a line number containing an example of initialization statement. That is line number 7. Line number 7. This is initialization. Assigning the first value to any variable. All right. Okay, give a line number containing the start of repeating block of code. That is 9. Give a line number containing a logic operation, which this is if then else. So this is 12. Give the line number of parameters to the function mid. Give the line number of parameters to the function. So this is the parameter. It is being used over here in the mid. So this is 10. Give the line number of parameters to the function mid. Okay, so there is just one mid function, that is 10. Give the line number of parameters of function mid. I'm unable to decipher this. Hold on, let us just again give the number. This is not line number, this is number. I'm sorry. Give the number of parameters to the function mid. So we have 1, 2, 3. So there are 3 parameters. I'm sorry. Yes, that was. I'm having illusions. Now, write a simplified version of a statement in line 12. Yes, this line 12 was actually making me crazy. So this must be if next character is greater than or equal to A and next character is less than or equal to Z. That's it. This is the simplified version. Put bracket or not. Okay. Doesn't matter. If you like, you can put brackets, but adding brackets to this would not mean anything. So leave brackets out. It works fine. All right. So this is the simpler version. Question number 6. A procedure count vowels will be called with a string. So why not or as in the given piece? Because if it is a range, my dear, if it is from 1 to 10 or A to Z, for the range, it is always end. If only the case, if it is in the repeat until thing, then in until we will use or, because until gets out when the condition is true. Otherwise, if it is while, if it is just if, and it is a range, it is always end. Okay, so this is end. Remember, if it is out of range, then it is or. If it is inside range, it is end. But for these if and while conditions, if we put that in until and we are using post condition loops, in that case the condition will be inversed. All right, so for the range, it is always n. A procedure count vowels be called with a string containing alphanumeric character that its parameter count and output the number of occurrences for each vowel A, E, I, O, U in the string count and output the number of occurrences of other alphabet characters as a single total. Okay, so we have to have different totals for, we will be using case and case for this. Each count value will be stored in a unique element of a global 1D array character count of the type integer. Okay, of the type integer. So how many do we need? A, E, I, O, U, 4 and 1, the separate one. Okay, 6. All right. So count alpha character count. Okay, so let us start. Declare character count as array from 1 to 6 of integer, and then we have to have declare index comma A count, B count, C count, D count, no, rather A count, E count, I count, O count, and U count as integer. Then we have to pick a character in every loop. So declare next character as character. Okay, so initialize A count, E count, O count, I count, A, E, I, O, U count as 0. Then run the loop. For I is equal to 1 to length of what? Oh, this was a procedure. Procedure count vowels what is the name of any? Okay, my string as a string. Okay, length of my string. All right, so next character is equal to mid of my string I comma 1. Next character is equal to uppercase of next character. This is just to avoid checking both uppercase and lowercase. If let's make a case of it. Case of next character. If it is A, if it is E, if it is I, if it is O, if it is U, or otherwise. End case. If it is A count is equal to A count plus 1. If it is E, then E count is equal to E count plus 1. If it is I, then I count is equal to I count plus 1. If it is O, then O count is equal to O count plus 1. If it is U, then U count is equal to U count plus 1. So we have X, otherwise X is equal to X plus 1. All right. Now, once we are done with it, A count, E count, I count, O count, U count, and X. So next die. So this is how it goes. And let's see what they say in the end. Be called with a string, count and output the number of occurrences, count and output the number of other than alphabets as a single total. The string may contain both upper and lowercase characters. Each count value will be stored in a unique element of global 1D array count. The array will contain 6 elements. So this is completed. They have not said that to get out from the array and output or whatever. If they, let's say if they ask you to output, so then we have for I is equal to 1 to 6 output output count vowels I next. Okay, so that's it. All right, so a procedure format name is called with a string containing words and spaces as its parameter. In this context, a word is any sequence of characters that does not contain a space character. End procedure. Yes, thank you. Creates a new formatted string from this string with the following: any leading spaces removed, any trailing spaces removed, any multiple spaces between words converted to a single space, all characters converted to lower space. The format name procedure has been written in a programming language and it is to be tested using a black box method. Give a test string that could be used to show that all 4 formatting requirements, any leading spaces, okay, this is leading space, a space is being represented this way, any leading spaces removed, any trailing, any multiple spaces removed. So Zafar, Ali, Khan. So leading spaces checked, trailing spaces checked, multiple spaces checked. All characters converted to lowercase. So whatever the character that I have given in this particular string, they all are uppercase, so they will be converted to lowercase. So this is a check. Remember, this is 3 marks questions. Be very careful with such questions. Okay, so this is basically a validation check, which is checking all the 4 validations there. Leading spaces there, trailing spaces there, multiple spaces there, and all characters converted to lower. So I have put all the characters in uppercase, so they will be converted to lowercase. The format name procedure should assign a value to the global variable f string. There is a fault in the program, which means that the assignment does not always take place. Explain 2 ways of exposing. Okay. We have to dash check walkthrough, what do we call it? Walkthroughs, dry run or walkthroughs. Breakpoint and stepping. That's it. These are two different ways exposing it. A program is needed to take a string containing a full. All right, we have done this question. We completed this question, I believe, in last part. So the same identical question. So we have completed this question already. In MJ22 part, we have already completed it. All right. So this is it.